Do you want to learn about consequences for young children? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, and child development, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about consequences for the little ones. In this video, we're going to be talking about consequences and what we usually use for older children and how those compare with consequences for younger children. And then I'm going to share with you some ideas that you can use to make sure that you create the proper environment for teaching cause and effect to your young children. So if you've been on this channel for a while, then you know that consequences are important to learning self-government. There's positive and negative consequences. They don't need to be painful necessarily, but a person does need to have the opportunity to learn cause and effect. Because for a person to learn self-government, they need to have a complete understanding of cause and effect. The definition of self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what that means is that you actually analyze yourself and cause and effect at the same time so that you can become the best version of yourself and follow through with the plans that you have for your life. This principle of self-government can also be taught to children. Parents all over the world, in almost every country, in every single continent in the world, there are people learning and practicing the skills and principles of self-government. These are very natural things for people to learn. They're historic, but sadly, they are things that many people have forgotten. When it comes to our young children, oftentimes we get frustrated and we don't know how best to communicate with them because sometimes their vocabularies are limited. Now, if you've subscribed to this channel already, you know that in multiple videos I talk about using extra chores as negative consequences for children. There's a reason for that, because an extra chore is something that they have to do. They have to accept their consequence. And remember, there are 4 basic skills in the Teaching Self-Government program that the children need to learn. These adult skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. So a person needs to learn how to accept a consequence. They need to do something to prove to themselves they can put in the work to make a change for themselves. Also, work is really great. Quick repentance is something that they can do with minimal effort and it goes away quickly, so it doesn't follow them around all day long. So there are large chores and small chores that you can use with children, but what about the little teeny children? Can they do a chore too? Absolutely. Work is the antidote for a sick character, and it's also a really great tool for learning cause and effect. I have raised all of my children using extra chores as negative consequences. It was actually really effective, but I never realized how effective it really was until I became a grandmother. My little granddaughter, Clara, can do an extra chore whenever it is time. In fact, she has no problem doing her extra chores. She does little work with her mother throughout the day. She's 2 years old. But when Clara does not follow instructions, does not keep calm, does not disagree appropriately, her mother and father do a correction for her and give her the opportunity to earn an extra chore. Now, it's really the correction that is the most important part, the words where she learns. But for her, she's listening to words all day long. She needs to do something to practice accepting her consequence. Just listening to the words is not enough accepting for her. So they give her a little extra chore. Her extra chores are tiny. Things like, go and put this crayon in the crayon bucket, okay? Or, for your extra chore, I need you to take this paper plate to the garbage. Just the other day, we were over at Clara's house for a family dinner. Actually, she chose not to use her skills a couple of times during dinner. She is 2 and very strong-willed. And her parents just calmly did correction and told her that she earned an extra chore. She took a brief break from the table to take something over to the garbage and to put another thing away, and then she came back to the table and sat down and ate with everybody else. And she had no problem doing it. She knows how to accept a consequence. Many people use consequence systems for little children, like little stickers and dots and little candies and treats and those types of things. They can work sometimes temporarily, but usually don't work for the long term. And I would really recommend maybe only using those types of systems for motivation. So motivation systems, but not for negative consequences. Now, I have an entire video on this channel all about positive consequences. So if you want more ideas on positive consequences, definitely take some time to look at that video. But when it comes to negative consequences, what do you really have at your disposal to use with the little children besides work? If the child goes completely out of control and they won't do their extra chore, what can you do? Many parents use timeouts. Sometimes they spank or they get a little bit angry. They might yell at their children. Those things are not effective. I have found over the years working with my children and other people's children is that pointing the child back toward calmness is the right way to go. So if you've seen on the website, so our website is teachingselfgovernment.com. If you've seen on my website that we have something called a choices map, it talks about when the children are younger to use a calm down spot. This is a trigger spot to help the child trigger to calmness. So it helps them remember that they have to choose calmness. It's not just something that happens to them. Now, a trigger spot is very different than a timeout. And that's because they don't have a certain time that they have to stay there necessarily. They only stay there until they're calm. And if they get calm on the way to the calm spot, then they don't have to go to the calm down spot at all. This points the child toward calmness as the goal. It's not about punishing the child. It's about helping the child learn how to calmly communicate and use their skills. Children who are young, younger than 2 years old, even as young as 1 year old, can learn the skills and principles of self-government. My little Clara started learning self-regulation, how to calm herself down, when she was just 4 months old, because she was deliberately taught that by her mother and father. Children can learn the principles and skills of self-government even before they can speak. So don't be afraid to teach them the skills and principles of self-government even though they're very young. These books will help you teach your children the 4 basic skills of self-government. This one teaches following instructions. This one teaches accepting no answers and criticism. This one teaches disagreeing appropriately. And this one teaches accepting consequences. Teach your children how you will correct them and what skills to use. Also, don't forget pre-teaching. When you're working with little tiny children, pre-teaching is going to be one of your main focuses. When you pre-teach your child, then they get more experience doing things the right way than the wrong way, and their chances of choosing the right way go way, way up. Now, this is just a beginning for self-government, and I know there's so many more questions that you might have. So I'd like to give you something a little bit more. I have a full class on this channel called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. If you click on the link to that video now, you will get a full overview of the teaching self-government system and how you can use it at your house.